winners over the Castleford Tigers. Featherstone 10, St Helens 42, so St Helens march on at the top of the table in that division as well. Leeds 22, Wigan 23, so the Cup winners lost. I think this was played as a curtain raiser to the Hunslet-Hemel game. Gemma Walsh, the Wigan captain, scored a drop goal sort of towards the middle of the second half. That sealed things. Very exciting game though. Leeds nearly getting back into it, but not quite having enough. So that means that it's really tight and exciting at the top of that Women's Super League as we're sort of into the second half of that season. Now, into the NRL. Round 22 down there. Cowboys 34, Broncos 30. What did Karsten tell us about this one?
Yeah, I think he was quite pleased with this one. Is get this, donkeys. Another JT masterclass. Cal Felt with a 56-metre penalty kick and Jason Tamalolo with a very impressive game. The Donkeys just ignored Sam Thirday's 300 game and couldn't beat the second last. There is hope for not getting a wooden spoon and give JT a good farewell at least.
Warriors 20 Knights 4, Rabbitohs 14, Roosters 18. Despite defeat, all the Burgesses put up some good numbers. George had 103 metres, Tom had 227 metres, Sam had 163 metres. It was the Titans 16, the Panthers 17, the Seagulls 18, the Bulldogs 6 in one of the irrelevant games. The Eels 40, the Dragons 4. That bottom place side Eels really did upset Gareth Widdups boys this week. James Graham made 46 tackles in a valiant effort from him. Widdup played 2, but that is disappointing for the Dragons at this stage of the season, and they're dropping out of the top 4 now, and that is an embarrassment, surely.
But again, I always think with the NRL, these results are kind of in there, aren't they? It's kind of it's a surprise because the Eels have been so bad this year, but kind of I don't know, it's one of those games.
Okay. The Raiders went down 22 points to 20 at home to the West Tigers. Elliot Whitehead made 103 metres and Josh Hodgson had a try assist and 44 tackles, so at least our boys did well. Hopefully the Raiders will have a much better season next year when they've got extra Brit power on board. And then finally, the Storm 14, the Sharks 17. All that means the Roosters take over at the top on points difference only. They are on 32 points along with the Rabbitohs. Storm and Panthers on 30 points make up the top 4. The Dragons, the Sharks and the Warriors, they're all on 28 points, so it's still very close up there at the top. The Broncos make up the top 8 on 26 points, but they are getting chased down. The West Tigers now, they're the only side left with a chance of breaking into the 8 that aren't in there already. They're on 24 points and on a little bit of a mini revival. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the final 3 rounds there. We did get a couple of other match reviews of sorts in. The first one, I'll bring us the first one. It was from the Brixton Bulls versus the Medway Dragons, which was the London Championship League semi-final. Dr. Hideous got in touch. He was there enjoying his dark fruit cider on the sideline and filming all the bust-ups between the players. He said, on 4 minutes, a Medway player was tackled into touch in his own 20, then mouthed off to the ref. The Bulls led 16-6 at half-time, with all their points coming from penalties in Medway's 20. The second half started with 4 Bull sets and an inevitable try. That was repeated at the other end of the field, leading to a Bulls yellow card and a try to keep the game close, until a Bulls try on 75 minutes won the game. Final score, 26-12. So the Brixton Bulls go marching on into the final. I'm not sure who they play. If I was guessing, I've only really heard of the South London Chargers, so let's say it's them. This is an interesting one. Do you want to take us through the final fan review of the week?
So the final is the Bowls Championship from it was the Steve Prescott Foundation Charity Bowls, sent in from Justin Holbrook. Obviously taking a break from training. If I'd paid the ref off, there would have been an investigation. Why isn't the Leeds bloke in a tutu? Make us a brew, Barbara.
Yeah, so those might have been following along, might have noticed, I think, that Dom Hodgson, who obviously we know wears silly costumes and raises money for charity, was playing in the Charity Bowls tournament in aid of the Steve Prescott Foundation, and he was beaten in the final by Justin Holbrook of his particular leg of that tournament. He did knock out SLP favourite who dropped in the strap yourselves in kids over the weekend. I was a little bit disappointed after Liam Marshall's try. He didn't drop a golden edge in, but I'll forgive him for that one. He got knocked out in the semi-finals, I think, by Dom Hodgson's duo that he was in. So bad luck there, Baz, and well done, Dom, for reaching the final. And, well done everyone for supporting a great rugby league charity. Okay, that is all the results from around the world of rugby league in all sorts of ways, well and truly covered. So it's now time for us to predict what's going to happen next week in the world of rugby league. Okay, then it's preview and predictions time now in association with Love Rugby League. Head to loverugbyleague.com for all the latest news, gossip, opinion pieces, and even more stats on the greatest game. Super League Super 8's round 2, Langers, and it starts this week on Thursday night. We're back to proper games on Thursday night. It's not these championship teams, these championship upstarts. It is 7:45 kickoff, as they have been all year. Sky are covering this one, as they are most games this week. Wakefield versus St Helens. I think this is a pretty interesting one, an out-of-sorts Saints against a Wakey side who seem to be firing pretty strongly at the moment. You've seen them first-hand last week, so I'll give you first dibs on what you think is going to happen in this game.
I think as kind of mentioned earlier on, you kind of Wakefield seem to choose this time of year to kind of pick themselves up and start looking like a side that's kind of going well. I just don't think Saints' slump is going to last as long as some people may think. I think they've had the semi-final loss. They've had the loss to Huddersfield, which they wouldn't have been expecting. I think they'll want to get on the horse quite quickly, and I think they'll see this one, the Wakefield game, as being a chance to do that. So I've got them winning this one pretty comfortably, to be fair, at 30 points to 12.
Well, I'm going differently. I think the Saints slump will continue for a little bit longer. I think they'll really reset after the Challenge Cup final, and I think they'll want to gear it all up again then. But I think that Wakefield side, they're pretty settled at the moment. They're not carrying too many injuries, and their best 17 at home, I think, will give this current out-of-sorts Saints side a bit of a challenge. I mean, I think, in that Catalan game, one of the things they really struggled with was Catalan's size down the middle. Now, I don't think there's a bigger team in Super League down the middle than the Wakefield Trinity side. So I think they're going to kind of give them the same sort of problems. I'm not sure Saints are ready to get over that slump now. Last week I was thinking, no, it was a one-game blip, that they just needed that reset. Now I think there's a bit more soul-searching to be done, and the extended break over the next couple of weeks is where they'll have time to do that. But at this stage, I'm going to go Wakefield by 10 to upset the top of the table side, and it's going to make that League Leaders Shield chase really exciting. Yeah. I think to make it really exciting, I think this slump will have to last. But yeah, we'll see. Fair enough. Well, Friday night, 7:45 p.m, also on Sky, a top 4 face-off here. Probably comes at a good time for Castleford, with Warrington going into this with the Challenge Cup on the horizon. It's Friday night, 7:45 p.m. I fancy Cass. I think, to me, Cass haven't been a side that have strung successive bad performances together too many times this season, and I feel like last week they were so bad in that first half, but they will do the right things to adjust, and certainly on the home field as well. And it's a key game for them after last week, really. I think whoever loses this game is probably going to feel like they're done for the home playoff semi-final. Warrington, I assume, won't rest anyone. I assume they'll maybe a forward though might get rested. That's the only thing I can think. They didn't need to play Darryl Clark last week. They rested Stefan Ratchford. Maybe a halfback and maybe a prop they might think about resting Warrington, so that might play in Cass's favour as well. This will be the last game, I think, that Cass don't have Luke Gale. So Truman and Ellis will be competing with each other to who'll get to partner him, I think, and whoever plays better for them might get that nod after the Challenge Cup final. So there's a few position battles going on for Castleford as well, as they're starting to get fitness back. So for all those reasons, I'm going to go Castleford. I'm going to go Castleford by +7 in this one. So let's say 25-18 to the Tigers. What do you think?
Well, I've got very similar views to you, but on the flip side, again, I think this is a game where, as you say, both sides are kind of wanting to stay in the hunt for that second place spot and a possible home semi-final. I think the Warrington lads are going to want to carry good form into the Challenge Cup semi-final, and I think that there's potential for a couple of lads to be kind of possibly in the 17 who are on the fringes of that cup squad. So I think there's going to be a lot of guys wanting to put a good performance out, and I think Cass away is you can put a marker down and say, yeah, we're here to actually make a challenge for it. So on that, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go. It's going to be close, but I think Warrington 22, Castleford 18.
Fair enough.
And I'm predicting Fat Boy Rob to be blaming the ref.
No, I think he'll. Yeah. I think the victory celebration selfie will return this week to the Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds of this world. Okay. Yeah. Also on Friday night, one of only 2 games on Friday night this week. Huddersfield hosting your Hull FC. So I think it's probably only fair that I give you the first go on this one, and you can tell me why Hull FC are going to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely heart ruling head. I can't back against the boys. I do honestly think we can't be as terrible as we have been over the last few weeks. I think we are gonna turn this corner at some point.
Do you mean the corner in terms of the form of the team, or the corner in terms of the Scoots curse?
Yeah, well, yeah. This is true. I think the FC co-host curse will hopefully be lifted. It'll be close, but I'm expecting us to nick this one. I'm going to go 20 points to 16.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to go Huddersfield by 16. I just think their form's too good at the moment. The way they're setting up in defence, they're a hard team to deal with. Much better teams than the current Hull FC lineup have struggled to break them down. And with Kelly and Connor out, you touched on this yourself. I just don't see that magic key to unlock a defence enough times. And yet Huddersfield, conversely, both their wingers are in really fine finishing form, and that makes me think they'll score enough tries to win this game. So I'm going to Huddersfield by 16. Let's say 26-10 in favour of the Giants. All right, the final game in the Super League Super 8s is another Sky game. Saturday, 5:15 kickoff, I think, for this one. It might be pushed back a little bit from there. We'll see how all the games line up. But this is the Catalan Dragons hosting the Wigan Warriors. Now, I've gone for my Wigan Warriors side to win this one, not just because I always do, but also because I'm hoping last week will have served as a reminder of just the standards you need to be setting, and I also think Catalan will probably rest the players that they didn't rest last week. So I expect people like Simon and Casti and Mead not to get a go in this one. They'll try and keep people fresh enough, so they'll bring a few guys back in certainly, and this will be their big chance to celebrate post semi-final, pre-final at home. So there'll be a great atmosphere there. But I just think Wigan will be more focused at on the task in hand. I've got Wigan winning by 12. I'm going to say Wigan 24-12.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think almost identical to yourself there, Mark. I've got Wigan kind of winning this one. Looking at my results, I've picked all 4 away sides to win. in this round, which is an interesting choice, I think. I think again, Catalan. I think the focus is on the Challenge Cup final.